Hey guys, and welcome back to A Week in the Coaster Community, episode 3. Today we've got a packed episode in another new location. That's great. Play the intro. Whoa! That was about as thrilling as the Dark Knight coaster, so not at all. First, I've got this nice TV here. I'm just curious, should I use it in the future? It's dumb, it's pointless, but it looks kind of cool. I'm just going to start playing footage from a previous video, because I think that'd be cool, but it's besides the point. So yeah, should I use this in the future? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's epic? Do you think it's fun to see anything over here? And what should I do with it? Like, I've been thinking, should I put my just logo here the whole time? I'm just curious, what do you guys think from the comments? Also, should I ever do that again where I fall over? Let's move on to our first segment. Right up there, we've got Kennywood requiring an age gap of 18. What do I think of this? Completely pointless and dumb. Why the park's literally restricting people, and groups that are less than 17 have to leave early as well, so I'll just give you all the info. Essentially, if you're 17 or younger, you need to have a guardian over the age of 18. So dumb. And this is old news, but I'm just, if you haven't heard, you know. So yeah, they require you to be 18 or older to be in the park. If you're younger than 18, you must have a guardian over the age of 21. So that's pretty much all the info. It's pointless, it's dumb. Like, that, they're just losing money off that. Now, I do see, yes, people pretty young don't wear masks as much. I could see that being their major point, but it just seems dumb. Let's move on to our next point. Up here again, Dragon Slayer track complete. There will be a picture right there. Dragon Slayer, if you do not know, is located at Adventureland in Iowa. So this is exciting for one reason. We knew it was coming. We knew it was going to be an SNS free spin. It's just cool to see that it's completed, that it's going to be open for the next year, you know. Could have been delays. They could have cut the whole project even with the teaser that they released. But it's nice to see them following through on this coaster, which should be an exciting addition. Hopefully I get to that park at some point soon. So yeah, very exciting to see track complete. The same can be said with so many coasters that we're going to open in 2020, or even some that are opening in 2021. Quasi's complete. People finally got to ride that. That's another news story. That one actually wasn't prepared. So yeah, let's move on to, so that was kind of a major point, is that Dragon Slayer has completed track, and that park needed something like that. Just, I mean, it's never a bad thing to have a new coaster's track complete. I'm just going to move on. I'm kind of rambling here. Alabama Adventure is going to be getting a new coaster. Where is Alabama Adventure? I don't know where in Alabama, but it's in Alabama. It was pretty recently, bought by the Holiday World family, and the current only coaster at the park is Rampage, which is a large-scale wind coaster. The park used to have a Boomerang and a few other coasters, but they have since been sold off by the Holiday World family to regrow the park back to the point it's at. All of the Holiday World features, like free drinks, sunscreen, and parking, are still available at the park, which is nice. And the park is getting a new coaster. So it's located on a small plot of land. I'm pretty sure pretty close down the main entrance area. Essentially, the park it has a main entrance area that kind of to the left goes to a lot of rides and roller coasters, and to the right goes to the very large water park. So what are we predicting for this? It's a small plot of land. It is the perfect spot for an Intamin Impulse or Skyrocket 2 or any other small model like that. But what do I predict? I think a Skyrocket 2. We saw the compounds receive something similar. And really, I don't think Holiday World's going to invest really heavily, and I think those Intamin rides do cost a lot. But they do want something. Now, what could I also see? I could also see this park having bought an Impulse from Cedar Point or Dorman Park. and now they're going to move this Impulse, which is an intense coaster, into this older park. That would be cheaper, probably, than a new coaster, and would provide a new experience. Now, I'm still going to stick with the Skyrocket 2. That seems like a harder piece of evidence that they're going to use, but you never know. Let's move on to our next story. Here we got Racer Kings Island getting a blue side retrack. Now, anytime I've heard someone mention Racer and it being a good ride, they say blue side. So this just furthers that the park is really working on this coaster. Even with its incredibly old age, this was the coaster that made the park, that almost, I would say, made the roller coaster industry. After Coney Island moved here, this was the big coaster built. And it was, I believe, the first racing coaster. I can't say the fact, but it changed the industry. I've seen other videos about that. Just search up Racer's Impact or something like that, Racer at Kings Island. Those type of videos will come up because of how influential that ride really was. But the blue side's getting a retrack, which is really good. Hopefully it'll be smoother. I do remember I rode the red side, so maybe that's part of why I didn't have a good ride. But let's move on to our next point. So yesterday, or not yesterday, yeah, it actually showed on this nice big screen. Okay, so yesterday I released the video, today I released the video, Lightning Rod getting RM Speed. This was because they had just announced a few different things. The second thing that they announced that the coaster community picked up is that Mystery Mine was getting some track work done. That is pretty exciting. I've never ridden it, but it's such a weird and unique coaster. You look at that ride, pretty much there's at least 2 coasters at each of the Silver Dollar City, the Hershey Family Entertainment Parks. You know, Powder Keg, that's a story on its own. That was a Premier Rides water, coaster, and that was switched over to a regular roller coaster. It's wild. That is weird. The indoor wooden coasters I would also describe as weird, but the weirdest of them all has to be the Eurofighter, which has a lot of weird elements, a weird theme. There's that weird bird that's like talking about dynamite in the queue. It does seem to have a pretty big queue, pretty good theme. But I guess we'll see what this actually will entail. I would bet they're just doing some smoothing out and track work. I don't know if this is all connected, but when I think about certain coasters or certain manufacturers, I notice that the ground actually has a lot to do with it. You know, you look at Kings Island, their B&Ms, the ground has had a lot to do with it, especially those tall coasters. The ground has made them pretty rough. So I'm wondering if something similar happened to Dollywood, where the ground may not be as hard. There may be some problem with the ground there, I don't know. But Dollywood is getting some work done anyway. Now, here's the portion that's going to go, I don't want to say downhill, but certainly not uphill. So I'm going to share with you a few secrets of my channel in the new series, Secrets of My Channel. And we're going to start off with how I make my thumbnails. So a lot of you have to have seen that I make it with Adobe Spark. There's a logo on the bottom of the screen of Adobe Spark that tells you every single episode I made it with Adobe Spark. That's just something, it was free. I loved everything that they did. So using this program, there's a lot of templates, but we're just going to go see all my projects. I have had a YouTube channel for a pretty long time. But, you just look back and tons of stuff. Oh, it keeps going. Oh my god. There's a lot of projects here. That one's just from that's literally the footage episode I'm using. That one. But a lot of stuff I've made using this program. And how I make it. Oh, actually, that might be the new logo. The MC. I like how it's sleek. I like the color of red, and I'm really considering that being a new logo for this channel. But thoughts on that. So essentially, how I make it. We'll edit one. So I start. For the thumbnail, I often use a lot of big shapes. So I will use a primary color for that episode, and then I usually put white words. So for this one, you can see I went with red, made some red different shapes, which this allows you to do. Previously, I did a lot different things. I kind of would sometimes do transparent, but I do notice that channels that they have a consistent type of thumbnail, it really does work, and so I've tried to do that. So essentially what I start with, again, I start with what is the episode, and I decide what kind of words I want to put on here. A lot of what it comes down to in your manga thumbnail, you gotta have what's actually going on. What are the big things you're trying to tell your audience when they're scrolling through YouTube? And so this episode, top 15 coasters in the Midwest. That's what I want them to see, my channel. And so, like, then I just kind of go with the color scheme that I want. And a background picture. Actually, these coasters, this was the first time I ever used this, where you get rid of the background on certain photos. So that's a cool thing that I put Gatekeeper twice, actually, in here. And then, even though Gatekeeper's not actually a top 15 roller coaster in the Midwest. Spoiler alert. So that's how I do that, and then I'm just here to close the rest of the episode. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and hit that bell icon for Midwest Coasters. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I first want to thank both Airtime Thrills and CoasterForce. I used their footage in the top 15 roller coasters in the Midwest video, and I didn't really give them a proper shout out, so thank you both. Also, in today's episode was a first of how to make something I do on my channel. If you guys would like to see that in the future, definitely comment below. And if you want a shout out in the future, also comment below. Thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time here on Midwest Coasters. Goodbye.